all 12 Star Trek appearances of Yeoman Janice Rand. Yeoman Janice Rand Grace Lee Whitney appeared in 8 episodes of Star Trek, the original series, as the personal yeoman of Captain James T. Kirk William Shatner on the USS Enterprise. Yeoman Rand was initially meant to be an integral part of Star Trek, the original series, and was featured as a main character in early promotional material for the show. As Kirk's yeoman, Rand developed feelings for the captain, but she maintained a professional distance from him. As her captain and superior officer, Kirk could not reciprocate her feelings, regardless of what he truly felt for her. Unfortunately, Rand's time on Star Trek was cut tragically short due in part to a horrifying assault an executive committed against actress Grace Lee Whitney in August of 1966. In her autobiography, The Longest Trek, My Tour of the Galaxy, Whitney speaks about her assault and how she was subsequently written out of the show, although she does not name her attacker. Star Trek later brought Whitney back to appear as Rand in 3 feature films and an episode of Star Trek Voyager, but she never became the main character the actress was originally promised. In The Corbomite Maneuver, Captain Kirk bluffs his way out of a tense situation with Commander Bullock and the First Federation by threatening the strange alien with an invented substance called Corbomite. In the end, Bullock turns out to be an ally despite his threats, revealing he was simply testing Kirk and his crew. The frightening Bullock the crew first encountered was merely a puppet disguising the real Bullock Clint Howard and his childlike appearance. Yeoman Rand only plays a small role in the episode, delivering Captain Kirk's meals and using her phaser to heat coffee for the crew. Kirk remains annoyed by the fact that he has an apparently distracting female yeoman, and the way Kirk speaks about Rand is an unfortunate reflection of 1960s thinking. Still, Rand proves herself to be a competent and friendly yeoman who genuinely enjoys the company of her crew. When a transporter accident splits Kirk into 2 halves, a good Kirk and an evil one, the evil Kirk wreaks havoc aboard the Enterprise. Spock Leonard Nimoy and Dr. Leonard McCoy DeForest Kelley eventually figure out how to restore Kirk, and the good Kirk convinces his evil counterpart that they need each other to survive. Before the crew fully knows what has taken place, the evil Kirk wanders around on the Enterprise, getting drunk and lashing out at his crew members. In a particularly upsetting scene, evil Kirk corners Yeoman Rand in her quarters, forcibly kissing her and attempting to rape her. Yeoman fights him off, leaving large scratch marks on his face that ultimately help the crew distinguish between the 2 versions of Kirk. Unfortunately, the episode ends with Spock making an uncharacteristic and inappropriate joke, suggesting Rand found something appealing about evil Kirk and his attack. In the first episode of Star Trek, the original series to air, Captain Kirk and his crew encounter a shape-shifting alien that extracts all the salt from the human body. At one point, the creature takes on the appearance of crewman Green Bruce Watson and transports back up the Enterprise. Once there, it stalks several crew members, including Janice Rand, until Dr. McCoy eventually kills it. The Man Trap shows Rand interacting more with her friends aboard the Enterprise, including LT Hikaru Sulu George Take and LT Uhura Nichelle Nichols. The creature disguised as Green follows Rand into a plant-filled laboratory, where she delivers a meal to Sulu. Sulu and Rand later leave the lab together, saving LT Uhura from being attacked by the creature. Among the many iconic figures of Star Trek, the original series' few characters spark as much curiosity and affection as Yeoman Janice Rand. With her iconic beehive hairdo and sharp professionalism, Rand, portrayed by Grace Lee Whitney, was a recurring figure in the earliest days of the Star Trek universe. Though her time aboard the USS Enterprise was brief, spanning just 12 appearances, each episode added nuance to her character and revealed the evolving vision of the show. Here's a look at all 12 of her appearances and the impact she made across the stars. 1. The Man Trap's 1E1. Although The Man Trap was the first Star Trek episode aired, it wasn't the first one filmed. Still, it introduced Rand to television audiences. Here, she serves in her official capacity as Captain Kirk's yeoman, showcasing a blend of professionalism and subtle warmth, an early hint at the unspoken affection between her and Kirk. 2. Charlie X's 1E2, one of Rand's most significant early roles. This episode put her at the center of a story about boundaries and power. Charlie Evans, the adolescent with dangerous psionic abilities, becomes infatuated with her. Rand navigates his obsessive attention with compassion and strength, making it one of her defining moments. 3. The Naked Times 1, E4. In this episode, the crew is infected with a substance that lowers inhibitions. While Rand isn't among those who act out, we do see the effect on the atmosphere and Kirk's barely contained feelings toward her, further highlighting their underlying connection. 4. The Enemy Within Us 1, E5. This powerful episode splits Kirk into two halves, good and evil. In one of the most intense scenes of Rand's tenure, she is cornered and nearly assaulted by the darker version of Kirk. Her horror and composure resonate deeply, and the scene becomes a touchpoint for discussions on trauma and agency in the Star Trek universe. 5. Mudd's Women is 1, E6. Though her role here is limited, Rand remains a key figure among the female crew members witnessing Harry Mudd's attempts to sell women as wives. She stands as a contrast, competent and confident, with no need for artificial enhancement. 6. The Corbomite Maneuvers 1, E10. Filmed before many others but aired later, this episode shows Rand in her most quintessential yeoman role. She delivers reports, assists Kirk, and balances efficiency with human empathy, a quiet strength that often goes uncelebrated. 7. Balance of Terrors 1, E14. A subtle appearance, but an important one. Rand is present during the tense showdown with the Romulans, underscoring her involvement in critical ship operations and battles. She's not just Kirk's assistant, she's part of the bridge crew's rhythm. 8. What Are Little Girls Made Of? S1, E7. Rand's presence helps ground this eerie android-themed episode. Though her screen time is minimal, she again provides a necessary sense of humanity in episodes dealing with identity and what it means to be real. 9. The Conscience of the King is 1, E13. In this Shakespearean-flavored tale of revenge and morality, Rand's role is modest, but her presence helps to maintain continuity aboard the ship during Kirk's personal journey. It's one of her final appearances in the original production order. 10. Dagger of the Mind 1, A9. A psychological thriller set on a penal colony, this episode includes a minor role for Rand, but it contributes to the growing sense that she's more than just a background figure. Her character often serves as a moral counterweight to the darker themes explored. 11. Shore Leave S1, E15. Rand's final regular appearance in the original series. She's on the pleasure planet with the crew when their fantasies start coming to life with unexpected danger. Her interactions are light-hearted, a nice send-off before her sudden disappearance from the series. 12. Star Trek, the Motion Picture 1979. After over a decade away, Rand triumphantly returns in the first Star Trek movie. Now serving as a transporter chief, she's present during the tragic transporter accident, an emotionally charged moment. Though brief, her return was a respectful nod to her character's legacy. A legacy beyond the screen. Though Yeoman Janice Rand's appearances were limited, her impact remains significant. Behind the scenes, Grace Lee Whitney's early departure from the series sparked discussions about the roles of women in science fiction. Her eventual return in later Star Trek films, and shows including Star Trek VI,